Hello everyone, this is Brock, your instructor. I just want to give you some information on critical thinking and what to expect from this class. So let's get started real fast. I'm going to start from the top. At the beginning of the class, you will see the important thing, the instructor welcome, some more about me, get to know your classmates, which is important to, you get some points for introducing yourself. Another very important thing is if you want to go mobile, most of this homework you can actually do on your phone. And you can do a lot of the reading on the phone, although I use if you have an iPad or a tablet or something, those are usually better. There's some information on there on how to download the apps. So I highly recommend doing that. The SmartBook app is where you can do most of your homework from. So I highly recommend getting the SmartBook app, and then you can do a lot of this on the go. So next thing, class wall, I'll be posting information on critical thinking, some things to look at. I like to look at podcasts, and I like to post a lot of that type of stuff. No points on there, but it's just good information. And it's not something you have to do, but sometimes I offer tips and hints on the assignments and stuff too. So it's good to check through there. So now let's get through the really important stuff. And that is under week 1, the very first thing you see is read me first. It is extremely important that you look at that. So go to read me first, because that tells you how to log in and get all of the information as far as how to do the assignments. So in this class, we use what's called smart books. And the smart books, there's some reading, and then we'll ask you questions about what you've been reading. So it's kind of like a drill if you've had drills in other classes, except for this come directly from the reading, and it happens while you are doing the reading. So you need to go to the read me first to learn how to log in and get all the launching information on how to get into your smart books. So after you've done all that, then you can go back to the main class page, and you can go under week 1, and you're going to find 3 things every week. You're going to find reading and practice. That's the first thing. There's 4 things. The reading and practice is the first assignment. You're going to have a discussion question, and then you're going to have 2 more assignments. So all of the assignments come from the books. They're all multiple choice questions that you will be asked from the book. So I hope all of you understand how to do discussion questions. I'm not going to go into those in too much depth, but please do those during the week. Other students rely on you to post so that they can respond and get their full credit, because they have to respond to at least one person. Make sure you look at the word count. Some of them ask for 300 words and then a 100-word response. And you are welcome to do more than that if you want to do multiple responses. And sometimes I'll give credit too if you respond to like 2 or 3 people and each one is like 50 words. If that's a little bit easier for you, if you respond to multiple people with smaller word counts, as long as it's about 100 words total. That just means we don't want you to respond very briefly, very quickly, say things like, I agree, and this was nice, and that type of stuff. So you only have to respond to one person, but make sure it's substantial. And make sure your original post meets all the requirements too, so read it carefully. All right, so now let's get back into the assignments. And this is the important thing. So when you go into the reading and practice, that's the first assignment, and this is an assignment. A lot of people look at that and say, oh, it's just the reading, it's not important. No, this is the first assignment. So every time it's a smart book, you'll see a link down here at the bottom that says load. And when you push that, you're going to get into something that looks kind of like this. So under week 1, and it will usually be closed up like that, under week 1, if you push it, you'll see there's the 3 things: reading and practice, week 1 assignment, week 1 critical thinking assignment. Let's go to the reading and practice first. So if you click on this little, I'll do this one more time. If you click on the blue button over there, and then push begin, it will bring up your reading. So this is the actual book. Now, one of the nice things about the smart books is it will often highlight the most important stuff for you. Now, actually, sorry, this went right to the questions. Let's go to this flashing button over here that says read, because you want to read the stuff first before you start asking the questions. Anytime you want to go to the questions, you can just go back down here to the practice. So that's how you switch between the questions and the reading. So on here, you'll see the highlighted stuff is the stuff that's typically the most important stuff that you need to know from each section. Sometimes the highlights will change after you've been answering questions for a little while and it feels like you've done really well on certain things, but maybe you've had some questions that you keep getting wrong. It will change some of the highlights so it knows where you need to be looking at if you need to get the information for those specific questions. So after you've been reading, and it will actually remind you after a while. So let's say you've been reading for about 10, 20, 30 minutes. All of a sudden this lady will pop up and say, you've been reading for a while. It's time we do some practice. You can click on her and it will go there. Or again, you can always just click here. It will ask you, there's 30 questions on here. You have to get all 30 right to get the points. If you don't get all 30 right, it will assume you're still working on the assignment and it will not sync to the Canvas gradebook. So let's say you only get part of them or 25 of them. And you think, oh, that's pretty good. And then you leave. And then you keep going back to your gradebook and you wonder why in Canvas it keeps saying you have a 0. And that's because it's only going to assume that you are you're still working on it until it's done. At the last day of class, everything will be synced over, even if it's a partial grade. But until you finish all of this, it won't sync into the Canvas grade until you're done. So that's very important to remember. And it's good to just keep going. There is an unlimited attempt that you can do on this, meaning you can get 100% on every assignment, and you should get 100% on every assignment, because there's no limits on how many times you can take these, ask the questions. So you just simply answer the question in there. It wants to know, do you know the answer? I know it, I think so, unsure. That's not a big deal. That just helps it to analyze questions, and especially different students where they realize a lot of students don't really understand this even after reading it. So if a lot of students say, I have no idea, then they'll say, all right, maybe we need to do more highlighting in this part of the book for the other students. Also, if you say, I know it, and then get it wrong, that also tells them that maybe they need to do a little bit better job of explaining it in the book. So those things aren't important for your grade. The only thing that's important is the answers right there. So after you do all 29 questions, 30 questions, it's really 29, then you can go back to the main part of the assignment. And let's go back to here. Sorry, mine's hiding underneath. And I'm going to leave this. And now there's 2 other assignments. These are pretty easy. The first one, and I shouldn't say easy, there's only 8 questions in this one. And again, you just push start. You have an unlimited attempt for each of these. So even if you get it wrong at first, you can come back and retake this assignment again and again and again and again until you get it right. And then the other one, same thing. The last assignment, the critical thinking assignment. This one, 50 points, but there's only 10 questions. So again, most of these are just multiple choice. And again, after you're done, if you don't like it, go back and retake it. I leave all these open until the end of class. So you're welcome to come back and retake them again and again. It's not just during the week. So it's pretty open, and you can come back and get a better grade if you want to. So that is the assignments for each week. So remember, each week you have 4 things you have to do. 3 of them are in the book, your reading and practice assignment, your regular assignment, and your critical thinking assignment. All of them are right here. All of them are just require you being in the Smart Book. Then you have the discussion question. And part of the discussion question is make sure you respond to at least 1 other student. So that's it. Every week, those are the things you have to do. If you have any questions, you are always free to contact me on Canvas or on my, or you can text me. My information is there under the instructor welcome. I'm here to help. I'm always willing, and I love to meet with students. So if you need anything, please just let me know. And I look forward to having a great class. Thank you, everybody.